Hey guys, welcome to Casey Baking. Today we're going to be making a very easy gluten-free cookie. It's going to be a chocolate oatmeal peanut butter cookie. Very yummy, very easy to do. I have my oven set up at 350. So now we're going to do a close-up on how I mix the ingredients. I'm going to talk to you what I like to do first, what I like to mix first. So let's get the close up, let's have some fun. Okay, so we're gonna be needing 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of white regular sugar. And what I like to do, what I have here is already both of the sugars mixed. So what you wanna do is just grab your whisker and kind of just, mix it. You don't want any rocks in there, meaning like, the sugar little rocks that you get. So that's done. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna need 2 room temperature eggs. So I already took them out of the fridge about half hour ago. This is gonna make the cookie softer, and it's gonna be very easy to mix. So we're gonna crack the 2 eggs. We're gonna mix it first, and then we're gonna keep adding the ingredients. Okay, so there's 2 eggs. We're gonna mix it until you don't see the yolk anymore. I like to use the hand whisker. I don't like to use the beater for this because it's really easy. Okay, so next we're gonna be adding a 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. My measurement here this is a half a teaspoon, so I'm gonna be doing that times 2. So this is the vanilla that I use. A little too much there, so I'm going to do a little less on the other half. There you go. And then mix again. So you want to get all the wet ingredients from now on first, so they'll be easier to mix. Okay, so next I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of melted butter. This is already cooled. So we add it, and again we mix. This already smells good, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna do a cup of crunchy peanut butter. I like to add this with the liquid because it'll be really easy to mix. If you add it after the oats and stuff, it just becomes like clunky. So we're gonna dump this here. I like to use the crunchy peanut butter. I don't like to use the soft one, the blend one or whatever it's called. So you don't need the whisker anymore. I like to use the spatula for this, by the way. So you just mix it. You see, it's like really easy to mix like this. I've tried both ways, and this honestly works better for me. Okay, so you see that. Next, we're gonna do, here it is a 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I like to just kind of like sprinkle it. We're still gonna mix it, but I don't know. This is my procedure. So mix. Make sure it's well mixed. Okay. So next, I like to do the rolled oats. They have to be old-fashioned rolled oats. Don't use the quick oats. The texture in the cookie is not gonna be the same if you do, but I mean, if you want to do that, do it. But I found out that this is the best oatmeal for this. Also, if you wanna make like a healthy version of this, you can always use almond butter, crunchy almond butter. So there's that. We're gonna dump here. This is 3 cups of rolled oats. I don't know if you know the difference, but just in case you don't, the rolled oats are a little bit bigger. The quick oats are like the super small ones. So there's the rolled oats. Again, we're just gonna kind of fold it in until you can see it well mixed. It's already getting like a nice texture to it. Okay, so everything's well mixed here. Last, we're gonna do the chocolate chips. We're gonna be having a whole cup of chocolate chips, and we're gonna fold them in there too. So there we go, that's our last ingredient. Okay, so you're good to go. Now you can set it aside, and we're gonna do, you can prep your pan. We need just a regular baking sheet pan. I'll show you mine. This is the one that I use. You can put the baking paper on it. I don't have any right now, so it's okay. We're gonna spray it with some either Pam or olive oil spray, whatever you have. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna weigh the cookies, and then I'll see you before I put them in the oven. Okay, so this is the spray that I use. Like I said, you know, my regular baking sheet pan. So we're gonna just spray it. Okay, and it just depends on the size of the cookie that you want. You can make them big, you can make them small. I like them, you know, about this size, and they do expand. So don't think that they don't use too much. And if you want to make big cookies, make sure you give a lot of space in between, because they will get big. So this is a regular spoon. If you want to weigh them so you get the same weight, you know, it's up to you. So we're just gonna put it in there, smash it a little bit. It's almost like bite-sized cookies, which is fine. Now look at this dough. It's like a lot of dough. You can put it on the fridge and it'll last you up to like a month. Make sure it's in an airtight container, and that way you can just make them fresh every time you eat them. I hate to have cookies sitting there and then you eat them after, you know, 4 or 5 days and they don't taste the same. So I'm gonna store these later on, and then I'll have it for, you know, a month or so. You can also freeze the cookies, which I do a lot. I make like a bunch and then I freeze them. Whenever you're ready to eat them, thaw them out. Or they're even nice frozen because they're kind of chewy. So it's up to your taste. So we're gonna only do 6 here. So this batter will give you anything from 24 cookies about this size to 36. So I know for a lot of people, you know, when you do gluten-free stuff, they say, oh yeah, but you use a lot of sugar. Well, yeah, but for the amount of cookies that this dough is gonna give you, honestly, it's not that much. Like I said before, it's only 1/4 of a cup of melted butter, so that's very low fat. So we're almost done here. And you're gonna, once again, preheat your oven at 350, and we're gonna bake them from 10 to 12 minutes. I like to always check them after 8 minutes, and I'll let you know why. Depending on where you live, the temperature of your place, you might have to let the dough sit in the fridge for about an hour so they don't get too fluffy. And I'll show you like later on if that happens here. I have an electrical oven, so it might be different for yours if you have like a regular gas oven. So you can just experiment, do a couple at a time. That way you don't waste the whole dough. So if you let your dough sit in the fridge for, I usually do it for like about an hour, they won't expand as much because you let the baking powder and the baking soda kind of rest and marinate into the whole thing. But you know, once again, it just depends on the altitude, where you live, what kind of oven you have. You can just kind of play around with it. Okay, so we have here 6 cookies, almost about the same size. So we're gonna put them in the oven, and I'll check on them in about 8 minutes. I will put a timer on it, and then there should be nice golden brown. If you need more time, you know, put more time. A lot of people like their cookies a little more dry, so you can just leave them in there for the whole 12 minutes, but make sure that you check on them. You might have to rotate them so they bake evenly, you know, on the whole tray. The temperature is not gonna be the same on all angles. So we're gonna put them in the oven, and I'll see you in about 8 minutes. We'll check them. Okay, so that was 8 minutes at 350. We're gonna check them now. They look pretty good. You don't want to keep the oven open too much because then your temperature is gonna drop. So I would say maybe about 2 more minutes. As you notice, I put them, they're golden on the outside, but they're a little soft still in the inside. So we're gonna leave them in there for 2 more minutes. I'm using my top rack. If you wanna use the middle one, you might have to leave them in there for longer. So we're gonna do 2 more minutes and that should be perfect. Okay, that's our extra 2 minutes. We're gonna be just take them out and they look very good. I like this. Okay, so look at this delicious cookie. It's crispy. You can tell they didn't expand too much, which means that for me in this kind of temperature, this kind of kitchen, I don't need to let them sit in the fridge for any time. But like I'm saying, an important thing that I want to mention is that if you mix the baking powder and baking soda along with the sugar and then add all the wet ingredients, they will fluff a lot. So you just want to not mess too much with the baking powder and baking soda. That's why I only mix them, in the middle of the recipe. So look at that. You can let them cool. If you have a cooling rack, take them out of the pan, put them on the cooling rack and they'll be ready to eat shortly here. So next, I'm going to be showing you a couple tips on how to store your dough. And that's it. Alright guys, so now we're going to just store the dough in an airtight container. It'll last longer if you do. Do not freeze the dough. You just want to keep it in the fridge and then take it out as you need to. You could freeze the cookies like I said before. Just wrap them individually in some kind of plastic. I wouldn't recommend foil, so I usually do it in plastic. So, just put your dough in the container and you'll see how much I have left. We'll just do this. That's a lot of dough. Okay, so there's that. The lid's pretty cool. That's your dough. We're gonna put it in the fridge in a minute. I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure that you like it. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment box below. And I just wanted to tell you guys, if you want to see me making anything, give me your suggestion. I'm gonna be uploading the video and everything, but if you have an idea, just bring it up to me. Put it on the box below. The recipe is gonna be down there too. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.